Hi, and welcome to the Monetize Your Mission Mastermind for May 14th, 2026. And today we have with us Mona Weathers. Mona is the creator of,
Next
I'm
level,
sorry, the
next
Next
level
Level
growth.
School Community.
Yeah,
I,
that
I
works.
just like it was on the tip of my tongue and then it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah,
So
it's fine.
welcome to the presentation, and I'm just going to turn it over to you. I know you have a presentation you want to do, and I'm going to be closing down some of these things that I have going on my computer so I don't keep freezing so much.
Okay.
Take it away, Mona.
Okay. Well, I decided not to be so super presentation-y, if that's not a word, but I just made it a word. I
Works
decided
for me.
to try to do kind of off the cuff, but I have some things I can show you as far as onboarding. So my name is Mona Weathers, and I help solopreneurs, coaches and consultants learn how to build clear systems that make growth more predictable, intentional, and sustainable. That's my whole goal when I'm working with people, whether it's in my community, Next Level Creator Hub, or sorry, yeah, I messed up my own name. It used to be Next Level Creator Hub. Next Level Growth Hub. Either way, it's next level. Next level is a good way to just describe me, describe my community. But I've been in business online, building business online since about the early 2000s. And uh, I struggled a lot until, I built it. I was at the time, I had young children and I was a mom and I had a farm and I was doing a lot of things and I struggled because of that reason, but also because I didn't have a lot of skills to build business online. And then I discovered how much systems can help and free up time and save energy and protect the things that I loved, which was building, having my children and building a farm. And so uh, I found Skool in 2025, which I just had my year schoolversary. And I found Skool, and I actually was on the platform for a little while before I realized how good it was. So I was on the platform, and then I found a community that I got plugged into, and then I fell in love with the platform, and then they came out with a $9 plan. So that's how I ended up on Skool. I was like, okay, I knew. Also, back up, I've been building community for all of those years as well that I've been on. I know how strong building a community is in general. Like as a homesteader, I built community. As a business owner, I built community because I know how important it is to have uh, to connect with people in a community setting. So in about August 5th, 2025 is when I started my Next Level Growth Hub community on Skool. And then I started my second community in February of 2026, which is called Offers to Launch, which is it's kind of like a course library with support, and it teaches people how to uh, sell their products and services within Skool. And technically you can do what I teach in there anywhere. It's just we're on Skool and it makes it easier. So, and then I started a third community. So now I have three. And the third community is the Growth Squad, which is my cohort community. So I have a few cohort members and we're going through that. So I have fully, fully jumped into Skool with all of my feet and all of my limbs. I only have 2 feet. But I've jumped into Skool because it was the thing that made the difference in my business. Before Skool, I was using Facebook, and Facebook was frustrating has been frustrating for a long time. And we all know, I don't even have to explain it. Everyone knows what I mean when I say frustrating. And it was just getting harder and harder to build a community on Facebook. But I did really well with Facebook years ago when it was actually more like the way Skool is now. But yeah, I struggled on Facebook, and I've actually dabbled and tried to find some other community platforms for a little bit before I found Skool, and there was nothing like Skool. It was just its own thing. And so that's how I got started. If anybody has any questions for me in that, I'm welcome. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. Um,
Do
but
you have anything you want to throw in there, Tracy? You're muted, hon.
Yeah, how do you find it trying to manage three different communities because you have to be engaged? And
mhm.
like, are you still on any other platforms or do you focus everything on School? Like, do you do Substack? And I agree with you about Facebook, by the way.
Yeah. That is a really great question because I hesitated to start a second community for a long time, and I did not want to do that because it is, like you're saying, you're splitting your attention. The reason got to that point was because I realized there was a piece inside of Next Level that a lot of the members had the same question about, which was how do you sell your offers inside your Skool community? And a course was just not going to do it. A course by itself was just not going to be able to answer that question, help people with that. And then it felt like it would get really messy with having people uh, who had bought the course and having this conversation and people who didn't or whatever. I just felt like it was cleaner if I just removed that and put it inside of another community. What I did, because part of what I teach is like protecting your energy and setting up systems so that you're not, you know, doing too much and burning out, is I made it so that that community is a very light on me needing to participate. So I created it so that it's a course library. So I take people through through different um, courses that like there's phase one, then phase two, and phase three. And then in each one of those courses, there are interactive questions to answer. So that question is also, should I just show my screen? Should I just show
Sure.
you what it looks like? Because this is
Yeah,
hard to explain.
that'd
Um,
be great.
yeah, I will show you what it looks like. Let me see. I need to. Fine. And I'll explain why I started the third community as well, because there's another reason I started that one. Kind of the same idea, but um, a little bit different. Let me try this again.
I started two communities for a different reason. I have the one main community, the U World Order, and then I have a different community, the Substack Starter Space.
Uh-huh.
And I did the Substack Starter Space is totally public and open.
Right.
So I did it for SEO purposes.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
actually started this community as a paid public community, and I did that. I left everything behind level one, so in the
Mhm.
classroom, so nobody could access it, but they could read all of the discussion and all that. But I had a few members say that they'd prefer it be private, and I kept it that way for about 2 months, and it didn't seem to have any better results. Like people weren't joining because they could see inside. So I just made it private,
Mhm.
and it made a couple of the members happy. So I'm good with that. But yeah, the reason, so I didn't start the community for specifically SEO's purposes.
Mhm.
Or anything like that. I started it because I was answering a question, and I created it so that it doesn't require a lot of my energy to keep it going. So we have the start here, my directory, which I'll explain that too as far as onboarding later if you want to know about that. And then I have phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four. And then I have other courses that are you come in after that. But so phase one, I have this little video that explains what it's about, and then each of these sub, each of these modules include lessons that take you to a um, a post inside of the discussion part, the community part, where they answer the questions. So there's a list of questions that I have. So this is like the automated part that I don't have to have my hands on. And then these are reflection questions about the course. So most of the course is really more of like a conversation rather than a lot of material and, they have to study. It's more like taking you through the process of how this works and making you think about it and implement some things. So, uh, and I tell you the when I launched this, I got this idea for this community. From idea to launch, it was 37 days, which I kind of proved the whole thing. I like how that it works through the from idea to launch. I sold about 22 or 23 spots. The launch I had different levels of uh, like it's one of the launch strategies that I do where it started off really low and then it went out higher every 72 hours until it reached $97. So some people paid 47, some people paid 97, and some people paid something in between as a one-time fee, and I launched this inside of my other community. So I started off this community with very active, happy people because they all got a good deal and they were happy to get started. So there's a lot of discussion going on in here from this 175 comments that happened pretty fast. This was the, you know, thing. And then that is where I'll go in and I will talk to people. I will read their reflection questions. So basically, my job is to make sure that they're keeping with their plans and helping them reflect on it and giving them some advice or tips as they go along. So it really worked out really well to do it this way because the second community is not like my other community. My other community, next level, is much more me hands-on. I post every day, just about. I really help people in the DMs. So that they're very different in that way. And that's the beauty of Skool is you can adjust things to fit the way you can work and the needs of your members. So there's no like one size fits all, one way is the right way. And then I started the third community because I started a cohort. This is my high ticket cohort, and it is for the members who joined that. So the third community, we do weekly group calls. So it's not uh, you know it's more live interaction talking, and then there's just the support of the community itself, and it's where I keep the courses. And I also give each one of my members who are in that their own personal course, so they have customized um, things. So, does that answer your question, Tracy? I kind of went deep into there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's, I guess, part of your system.
Yes, yes, and so it doesn't actually feel like I'm have three communities. It feels like I have one community, really, just with talking to different people and where they are.
Mhm.
Um, and I did have the freemium model for a little while, but I did not like it. I did not like the MMR, honestly, because of the style that I use, which is deep uh, transformation. And you can't on a monthly. You just can't do like I'd have people come in and I wanted to help them more, but they weren't ready and they were just paying anyway. And it was like I shut down my monthly freemium, and I only will do I have the one-time fee community, and then the cohort is how I do it.
Got it.
Yeah. So, but I want to talk about something that will help you no matter what kind of community you have, and that is um, onboarding. Um, Onboarding your members to make them feel, well, let me back up first because I want to first say I believe most solopreneur businesses should have a community around their business because uh, you save so much time and energy if you can gain trust faster. And the fastest way to gain trust is through a community. So I encourage every all of the people that are in my community and my programs to think of it like you're squeezing time because I don't know what word to use. I asked my husband, what's the opposite of expand? And he's like, retract. And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't seem like the right word. But that is basically what I'm trying to do. It takes a certain amount of time to do things usually. But there's some things that you can do to make that time shorter.
Contract.
Contract. There we go. Yeah, that's a good one. But so that's what I'm constantly doing in my with systems. I'm trying to find the thing that is not just like skipping steps. Like I'm not into skipping steps or hacking to where people aren't benefiting. I'm more of thinking like how do I make the time shorter? And one of those ways is through community. You can build so much trust with people if they have the opportunity to talk. I'm sure you know that, Jill, and have experienced that. Um, so that's but community is mostly about conversations. So when you get down to the base of it, it's really about conversations. If there are no conversations happening, it's really not a community, honestly, if I'm being honest, because it like it's about people. It's about people connecting. It's about that conversations between you and your members, conversations between your members and each other. It needs to be conversations. So with my onboarding method, I teach trying to shorten that time to conversation. And if you can shorten that time and make it happen faster, more results. This is a brand, this is a new niche. I came from the homesteading niche, as you know, Jill. I came from the homesteading niche. I have a podcast that's still out there. Because of the systems I created, it's still growing without me. I haven't made a podcast episode. It's still growing. My email list is still growing because of that podcast, because of the systems. But that's a side thing. But I came from a different niche, and when I found Skool, I decided to start doing YouTube. Actually, I was teaching YouTube growth strategy, and then that was actually you had Tracy, you had asked another question regarding that, right? You had a two-part question.
Platforms that you're on.
Platforms that I'm on. Yeah, I didn't answer that question. Well, YouTube is my other platform that I do use. I am getting back into creating more content for it. But um, so when I got on Skool, totally new niche. I was in the YouTube space, growth space for a while until I realized a lot of the people that I was coming in contact with were missing a lot of these solopreneurs and entrepreneurs were missing pieces that make a business work online. And I was like, okay, I've been doing this for a while. I know what they're missing. They're missing the systems. They're missing the steps that are necessary to get there, and they're missing the repetition that it takes to figure out if what you're doing is working. So that's when I switched to teaching systems. So I teach community building system, I teach a traffic system, and I teach an income system. Those are the little uh, you know
Hubs, not
pillars. Yeah, they're the pillars that I teach under. But it's basic business. Like you have to have traffic to come to you, whatever the thing is, community is not something that everyone teaches, but it is really super important, and it is for a solopreneur helps to use your time wisely. Um, so, oh, the reason I said that, reason I was saying that is because I was 15 weeks on the platform with my community, sold my first high ticket in 15 weeks, and it was because of community. It was because I was able to nurture these people. It was the first one. I was able to nurture by building community. But I also, the crazy thing is, a lot of people who are just watching, who aren't even interacting, are still benefiting from the community part of it because you're showing up, you're consistent, and they're still benefiting from it. And I've had people lurk right into my offers. They just lurked right into it. That's what I say. They didn't interact with me before they purchased. And it just is that's the power of community. That's really the power of community because um yeah, if I didn't have that, I would not have sold those the first high ticket. And I sold actually within first 6 weeks of being I had a course and I sold like I can't remember, like 16, less than 20, but it was like pretty big deal because it was all new. I was new to the platform, everything, right?
And it just
So,
goes to show that you don't really have to have a whole lot of members in order to
hmm
monetize what you're doing if you set up the foundations properly.
hmm exactly. And at that time, the first time I sold, I had 40 something members. The first course launch, the first launch I did, it was 40 something members. And the second one, it was under 100 for sure.
Mhm.
The high ticket. So yeah, exactly. And then the numbers are really can be vanity metrics. You really don't need that many people. You just need qualified. You need the people that need you, basically, and that are able to, you know, you need the right people. So, but that's not to say you can't have other people in your community who are not the right fit. It just means that we always work towards getting the people who are the good fit into our community. But yeah, so conversations. Do you want me to, do you want to say anything, interject at all before I get on to conversations?
No, I will actually, yes. I'm going to
Okay.
interject again about
Mm-hmm.
foundations. It's
Mm-hmm.
really important that you know who your ideal client is, what that
Mm-hmm.
journey is you want to take them on. And then it makes the whole process of setting up a community, and it works with Skool the same as it works with Substack, and really the same as it
Mm-hmm.
works in anything that you're doing online. You have to know where you're taking people, and you have to be
Mm-hmm.
known for something.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are like, I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur, and just like, that's great. Lots of people are, but
Mm-hmm.
when somebody hears about you, do they know what you're showing them?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And like you said, it's all the platforms. It doesn't matter where where you are. You need to make sure that you have this you have the same foundations. Sorry, I'm looking for something at the same time I'm trying to talk to you. So, okay, I found it. Um, so I'm going to show you, since most people that who are watching this replay Tracy, you have a community, Tracy? Do you have a community?
I do.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm going to show you my onboarding. I have 6 steps to onboarding. Let's see. 6 steps to better onboarding. Um, so like I said before, it starts with conversation, and it actually starts before you reach your about page. So like Substack, for instance, you're building the conversation there, people are reading and learning more about you, and that's where the conversation starts. Uh, so you have to have that traffic source somewhere.
Mhm.
And then I don't have Substack on this list, but it definitely could include Substack. You can have YouTube, social media, ads, School Network. That's where the conversation starts. The better you're able to verbalize what your community is about before they get to the about page, the better the experience will be. But I have 6 steps. I'm not going to go through all of these like that. I'm just going to show you my graphic thing that I made here. So you have traffic, and then people land on your about page. And when we, anytime I teach anything about any platform, think of it this way. This will probably stick in your head forever because I'm going to say it to you probably a few times. Your web page, your social media platform, profile, your YouTube channel, your about page on School is a business card. Look at it as a business card and optimize it so that when people land there, they understand what it's about. I don't like to get into like exactly what you have to have on the about page. Just think about it from the person who lands on its perspective. Is it easy to understand? Do they know who it's for? Do they know what to do next? Do they get a little sneak peek? I have, I always start with an image like this to explain, to point out to, I call it signaling, to signal to the ideal client, which is, you can't see it's pretty small, but it says for coaches and consultants ready to build repeatable systems for sustainable growth and income. So I call out the person as best I can with that image. And then the next one is my VSL video. And then I have a couple of testimonials. And I think I have a sneak peek in there. So it's just a little view of what's inside. And then I have the appropriate keyword friendly, keyword enriched description that gives a little bit of uh, information on what's in it, uh, what's in the community. But that's the first start of the conversation. The next point of the conversation are your member questions. This is like so key, and I know a lot of people are on board with this, but I feel like it's not used in the right way. Like this is to help you further the conversation. So I've actually changed this one recently because I'm doing a launch and I wanted to make sure that people who are invited got credit for inviting people, because School is kind of weird about their tracking links and stuff. I wanted so I changed the first question, but the question at the time was, which growth systems are you currently working on improving? And then there was multiple choice of community, traffic, income, or not sure. And people have to answer this to join. And then I made it a little bit more difficult to join my community because this next level is not just a name for my community. Next level is people who are ready for the next level. And there's certain things that you have to be willing to do, and answering a harder question is one of them, like a more in-depth question. You just have to be willing to do that and leave your email address. But so the question is, what have you tried or what have you already tried to grow your business, and where do you feel stuck right now? So that gives me some insight into the person before they join the community. And then the next question is the email address, which I highly recommend anybody who's not on a paid um, a community, because they do take your email if you have a paid community, if it costs money to get in. But if they don't, if it's a free or freemium community, you don't get emails. Take it even if you don't plan to send any emails, because one, I think it's a better opt-in for School community owner, School people who are getting the emails automatically sent with notifications. It's just a better opt-in. It's like kind of covering you, because I don't think School like has a very good opt-in when it comes to that. Two, you download your membership list, every month or so. just so you don't lose it. So if something happened to school and it wiped out, you have a way to contact all your valuable members. So even if you never send one email, you should be taking their email address. And then on the list is the start here pin. So I always have a start here pin. I have a start here pin and an introduction pin. Introduction post. Those are two different things. The start here post is always pinned, and that's so that when I let people in, they know what to do next. It's obvious, it's there, it's always there. It's always the third one too, usually. And and in my welcome message, which will be the next thing I show you, I tell them to go to start here. So I have an automated message that tells them to go to start here. And um, then, uh, yeah, I have have written something here, but some people, I'll tell you, some people do start here and introduction at the same time, and that's okay. And that's actually okay, especially okay for people who are getting large amounts of people in at a time. So I do think that that's fine. It's like, this is just the way I do it. With the auto DM, though, if you have an auto DM and you are able to point them to directly uh, to a post, whether you're there or not, because they sometimes people answer posts different times or answer the DMs different times, and you don't want it to miss out on being able to go do the next step. So this is further, yeah. Did you want to say
So
something?
something,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you know that you can drop people right into a classroom if you go to the first lesson and you copy that URL,
Uh-huh.
even if it's paywalled, you can drop it in there and then they can click the link and it'll take them straight into the classroom that you want them in, to the lesson you want them going to.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. And then the other thing is if you're sending this to somebody that you want them to upgrade, it will
Mm-hmm.
put the paywall portion on the front so they can't
Mm-hmm.
just drop into the classroom, which was something I didn't really understand for a long time. And the
Mm-hmm.
third thing is hashtags on Skool, not in the DMs, but on posts. If you
Mm-hmm.
put hashtag and you wait a second, classroom lessons will populate up there. So if you know
Yeah.
what you labeled your classroom, your first lesson, you can get
Mm-hmm.
them, you can just use the hashtag to get them in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did know that about the courses. This particular thing is actually the inside the community. So this is linked
Mhm,
inside of the community. There's a pin. But yes,
mhm.
there's all kinds of things that I've learned. You know, we learn like by accident sometimes, or somebody tells us. But yeah, yeah, I've learned that too. So, but yeah, so anyway, I needed to get to this point because this is where this is where the magic happens. So,
Mhm.
you want to set it up so that they are have a place to go if they're not if they answer the question that I'll tell you what the question is. And I have about like 85 to 90% answer rate on this. So I ask a question and continue the conversation. Um, but if you're not able to get back to them as soon as, you just want them to have something to do first. So that's why I have this auto DM. So getting them wins as quickly as possible. I ask the question, what's one goal you want to hit in 90 days? And I've had this question for a lot, for almost since I started Skool. And I get people to answer this. And I think it's because it's time frame. It has 90 days on it and it's one goal. Like it's not, what are all the goals you want? And not leaving, or what are, what's, I don't know. There's so many wrong ways to ask that question. So the auto DM says, "Welcome to Next Level Creator Growth Hub." This is an old DM, but excited you are here. Check the welcome post, and that's a link at the top, and it shows you how to get the most out of the community. Quick question: what's one goal you want to hit within the next 90 days? And most of the time, people answer. So that's my conversation starter. That's my main conversation starter. And then from then I can help them get quick wins as soon as possible. And I do. I spend a lot of times in my DMs. If anywhere else, it's mostly my DMs. And I give them personalized help. I help them as much as I can. Sometimes I can't really help them and I send them somewhere else, but it's personalized, and this is why I left this little blank thing. This is my goal always, to answer my notifications, to have zero in each box, zero in my DM box and zero in the notification, because it's that important to me. Um, and then if you don't have a pro account, there's tools like Panda or Schoolie that will actually let you do the auto DM as well. So for a hobby plan. Um, yeah. Does anybody have any questions? So I have one more tip and then I will be done with my tips.
I'm
Uh,
good.
I I have a couple of questions,
Okay.
but we can wait till the end for me to ask
Okay.
them because they're sort of from earlier on.
Oh,
So you,
okay.
I was just going to ask you, how do you do the auto DM? Because I have, the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Panda is. I know what Schoolie is, but I haven't been using it, so I'm going to have to figure
Mm-hmm.
it out.
Well, Schoolie, so Panda is a newer one. It's actually Schoolie is great. Joe is great. I started with Schoolie and I highly recommend. Like I'm literally sharing both of them now because they both have different uh
I have them both
benefits.
on my dashboard. I
Yeah.
use and I have Goose's thing on there too. So I was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah. So as of this recording, Schoolie is $9 to join, and that is very minimal, but it has some very useful tools like recording audio from your school. You can record audio right inside your DM or inside of your posts, or video, audio, video, and screen share. So you can do like a Loom style videos on both of these. Um, it's $9. So you get that and a few other things. But in order to get like the auto DMs and stuff, you've got to upgrade to either right now it's $39 a month or $59 a month. So it's a little bit higher. But the nice thing about Schoolie is it's kind of like he's kind of trying to make it into a all-in-one platform, I think, for
he's
school
re
owners.
we had Joe on last week and
Yeah.
he's really close to go high level.
Yeah, I know. And so if you need those things, then Schoolie is the right place because you're never going to get that many those many tools. He does you have websites, or you can do a website, you can do testimonials, link trackers. He has link tracking, so you can get data on any links that people click on. There's scheduled posts. There's so much. So like I said, different needs. So Schoolie is so I do actually have I have both. So I have the higher one on Schoolie right now, but so I was able to use it, and I was able to. He has boards as well. I was able to help him actually. I asked for those boards, by the way. That was me. Um, but anyway, so if you need something like that's kind of an all-in-one, Schoolie is the way to go. Panda is not like Schoolie in that way. It's on Google Chrome only. It doesn't have a separate. Um, as of recording, it's $24 a month right now. Um, and it has boards and a lot of features that Schoolie has, only it's just on Chrome, so it's not, no data is being saved except for on your computer. So Claudio, he's a friend of mine, he actually was telling me he was going to start something before he started it, and he kind of like came in after. Anyway, he's great, and he's very business minded and knows how to do things pretty well. Um,
Panda
he,
will work on Edge too, by the way.
oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's good. Yeah, and so you join that community for free and then you upgrade. But you get to get on both, I think you can have a 7-day free trial, so you don't have to pay until you try it out. But yeah. Both will do auto DM. So that was a long answer to that. And it just depends on what you want. If you want something that's more that allows you to do multiple things that multiple platforms would you would pick Schoolie. If you just need something to help you school specific, Panda would be a good option too. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so my bonus, my last one, is my school directory. This is another part of the conversation, and I started this directory for a couple of reasons. I started it to help my members connect with each other, kind of like a these are who else in there. I put my members in this directory. I gave them the option to be in it if they wanted to. And then I increase uh, well, it was also to help me when I wanted to onboard people who aren't familiar with Skool. So, like Facebook people, like when people are coming in from Facebook or another platform, in order for them to stay on the platform, they're more likely to if they're in other communities. So that was a big, strong reason I made this so that I could onboard other people really well. So I just made this. It's just a template thing that it has the same description. I can show it to you exactly what it looks like. But the last reason I made it was because to get referrals. So it's my set it and forget it money thing, and it's done pretty well for me. Like this is part of my onboarding. It's part of the Start Here message. It's part of the Start Here course. It's in there as well. Like it leads people there, and then they just scroll and find the communities if there's any that they like, and then they join and use my affiliate link if I'm in that community. So I'm not in all of them, but I'll share with you what it looks like inside just real quick so you can see. And I have both Schoolie um, and Panda listed there. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, I think this is the right screen. You see it, right? Like it says Panda. Okay. So yeah, this is my directory, and this just helps people to get onboarded. So I just have explanation of what the directory is. I have Skool, obviously, if somebody's not there on it already, they can join. I have my favorite communities, which is listed here. So like the classifieds. And then I have the broken down into different categories. So there's a promote communities list, all the different ones. And then there is also business and money, I think you're in it too, right? I'm pretty sure you're in it. Where would you be, Jill? I'm pretty sure you did this maybe, or I put you
Um,
here. Entrepreneurship?
I
No.
don't, I don't,
Maybe you didn't. Anyway, this is your opportunity. You can be in it if you want. I don't know where you would be.
maybe under podcasting,
I don't
probably
think
would
it
have.
would have. Yeah. Email marketing funnels. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't get you in here, but it was a time I asked members if they wanted to be in it. And so I've also made, last thing I'm going to share, I also made a directory. So I mean a template. So Jill, if you want to use this, you just go to this part inside of my
I know
thing.
I created a directory on the U World Order
Uh-huh.
because of what you were doing over here.
Okay.
So I think I am in there somewhere. I just
Okay, you
don't know
must be.
where.
Yeah.
I've actually,
Of course.
right now, I have a tab open in my browser that is the like how to copy the directory that you created. And
Oh, okay.
so it's been on my to-do list
Cool.
in the form of a tab screaming at me that I need to
Yeah.
do that before I close it. So
Yeah, you should do it. It's great for like just like I haven't really done very much to promote the things that I'm trying to not share my screen anymore. How do you do that? I haven't done, occasionally I will tell people directly if they occasionally I'll tell people directly, like if we're having a conversation and they're like, I really want to learn more about funnels or something like that, I'll direct them to a specific person. Sometimes they'll say, I'm really into some kind of hobby, and so I'll direct them to that category.
Mhm.
And so they can see all of the ones that I have in there, which my thing is not that full, actually. It could be a lot fuller, but I didn't fill it up. But the main ones I think people look at are the ones that I have highlighted. Um, but yeah, it's really the affiliate program on School is amazing. It really
It
is.
pays to share other people's communities
It
that you're
does.
part of
Hmm.
and to promote it. I had a note that I had put out on Substack the other day about, sharing is caring is basically
Yeah.
you can support other communities, and
Hmm.
school makes it really lucrative to do
Hmm.
that.
It does. Yeah. And I didn't catch on for a while. And that's why I came up with the directory, or one of the reasons, like I said, was because I wanted to be able to have something in the background that was getting my links out there, if just a little bit, and that all
Mhm.
adds up.
Yep.
So, and it helps people. Like I said before, it's like people who are new to school have no idea where to start. And if you have some suggestions for them, in a container that they can understand, then it makes it easier. So,
Yes, it does.
so I ended up being pretty presentation-y after after I said I wasn't going to be.
It's great because it
Yeah.
it flowed,
Okay, good.
and then
I,
Tracy can ask her questions.
Yeah.
okay, you've actually answered like half of them since I
Okay.
said I had a few.
Okay.
So my community is more of a spiritual based community. So is
Okay.
there and I've noticed that a lot of communities that are successful are doing things like you and Jill do, which
Mm-hmm.
is, help people build their business or their community
Mm-hmm.
or what have you. So is there anything different that I should be doing because I solve a different kind of problem. I'm not solving
Mm-hmm.
a problem that's ever going to help anyone make money um,
Right.
directly. I think I probably am, but not directly. So
Mm-hmm.
what should I do different because of that?
Okay, that is a really great question. And I have probably one of the most unique clients on School, which is she's a sensory scientist who teaches people how to uh, taste wine better and to be able to like identify the taste in wine. So it's like the most, like I actually like it when it's a little bit unique like that because it's kind of a challenge for me to try to help them frame how, because, but you, people like you are actually in a better place than people like me and Jill because it's very wide. Like a lot of people are teaching this, and we have to kind of like make sure that we put ourselves in a right place. You know what I mean? Like as far as like our uniqueness and our unique approach. Whereas everybody has to do that, but people who have I don't know, I just don't think I think it's actually a reframe in your mind. You need to say you're actually on the benefit side of things, not teaching like we are. Do you mind like if I see your page? Because I have some thoughts, but I don't know what
Sure. Do you want me to share my screen or do you want to go in?
actually, yeah, can you send it to me so I can look and then I will.
Well, it's a private group, so you
Oh,
have
okay.
to join.
Yeah, I just mean that I just want to see the about page.
Okay, let me grab that for you and I can send
Okay.
you to it.
You're welcome to share your screen, Tracy, if you'd like.
Yeah.
I can if that's preferable.
Actually, it's preferable that I can scroll and have control.
Jill knows that very well because when I share my screen, she's always trying to scroll for me. Okay, let me just pop it in the chat.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I remember you. I haven't seen you in person, so it's like You know what I mean? Like you see people differently when they're not uh when they're in person. I
Not
don't
their
know. Does that make sense?
icon.
Yeah. Yeah, their icon exactly is different. So I know who you are. Um, okay, I'm going to share this screen so that I can walk you through what I'm thinking. Okay. So bring folklore and magic into your daily life with proven methods to sharpen your skills and attract abundance in all areas of your life. It's nice. Um, Deepen their spiritual practice. So the biggest thing that I see with certain topics is that there's no end to it. Like there's no like when is somebody finished? Can somebody, you know what I mean? If they could complete what you teach, what would that
Mhm.
look like? Does that make sense? And
Yeah,
I know it's not something that you necessarily will complete, but in their mind, they need to see that they have developed this thing.
yeah, for me, it's like when they sort of complete it, and I've thought about this a lot. Like I've thought
Mm-hmm.
about, you know, Jill's focus on Substack and even on like Authority Cam,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, well, there's a certain end point where I've mastered it and I feel
Mm-hmm.
good about it. And, might I stay on in community? Absolutely, because
Mm-hmm.
things happen in Substack all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I consider Jill to be a friend now, and that's part of,
Mm-hmm.
building community, right? But
Yep.
for me, if I was to look to a similar kind of endpoint for
Mm-hmm.
the people that would be in my community, it would be when they're able to let go of imposter syndrome and
Okay.
stop worrying about what rituals or magic works and
Mm-hmm.
feel confident that they know and that they understand their personal, like creating their own personal magic, understanding their own energy,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
feeling confident in who they are as, I guess
Mm-hmm.
that's it, feeling confident in who they are as a magical practitioner.
Yeah. Okay. So you use two words that need more explanation, magic and confidence, because that looks different for everyone, you know? So if you can verbalize and say what that is specifically, uh, how they can reach this thing specifically, and even if it's not everyone is doing this, but if you can like say it in some sort of, so my thought is if I were to tell you what confidence means to me,
Hmm.
is that I can get on camera and not worry about what people think.
Hmm.
You know, that's a tangible thing.
Yeah, and I'm
I think you
talking
could
more.
go a little bit
All right.
more towards, I'm gonna just interject here because I know what
Yeah.
you do and I know what you teach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could actually tell people in the first week, you'll learn how to set up a sigil, how to infuse an amulet or a
Mm-hmm.
talisman. You'll learn how what the tools of magic are. You'll learn how to use them over the course of time
Hmm.
because there are different things that you share about specifically. There's specifics
Mm-hmm.
to how to do things and how magic looks like how to use oracle cards or tarot cards. There's practical aspects of things that you are teaching people in your community, but
Hmm.
it's not showing up here.
Yeah, I think that part of that is that when I look at successful spiritual communities, it's
Mhm.
like you will develop your mediumship skills, right? And
There's
so,
specific steps that you need to go through in order to develop your mediumship skills.
right. And so, but I guess they're focused on what the outcome is, who you are on the other side of the journey. Not you'll learn how to use cards, but you will develop a mastery of,
Hmm.
and that's kind of like
Yeah.
where I'm thinking I need to go because I know my messaging is a little bit off and I've been struggling with it lately
Hmm.
because it's sort of like everything else on the internet, like, oh, we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. And people are out there putting out content that has no, specific, immediate, burning pain point,
Hmm.
problem that they want to solve. And I want to get past that and say, here are your results. And
Hmm.
just learning something doesn't seem enough to me because, yeah, that's great. And if I've got a bunch of extra time and money, I might be like, hey, I love learning.
Hmm.
But it feels like people are more um, like invested if they're like, yes, I don't know when I'm reading my Oracle cards, like, is that real? Am I making it up? And how do I like become the kind of person that goes, I know exactly how to read this in order to, give me the direction, even if it's only a back door into my subconscious. Or maybe you believe it is your spirit guides or angels or whatever. And so that's what I want to, I sort of feel like I need to focus on how people are going to feel.
Hmm. I think you're right. I think that would be a good direction. Um, and use the fitness, how fitness people talk. Because you can't say you're going to lose a bunch of pounds and that's the
Hmm.
good fitness program will talk about what they feel like after the fit, like you'll be able to wear that beautiful dress you wanted to wear, you'll be able to feel like you get
Yeah,
up
yeah.
in front of the stage, using that kind of language will probably benefit you
Okay.
more. Yeah.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
That answers the question, so that.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
of
So
this,
that.
so that.
Okay. That makes sense. That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's that question. Um, now, so I am personally a big like strategy geek, right?
Hmm.
My master's is in strategic organizational change, which is kind of funny considering I talk about whether or not magic is real. But I love it. And so when you were talking about contracting time and shortening the time to get to conversation, what
Hmm.
it said to me, like I was immediately thinking, I need a Pareto chart for this. Like I
Mm.
need, and so when people are tracking sort of their stats, I feel like people are doing it ineffectively because they don't know what to do with that information. So
Hmm.
and like a Pareto chart is, I mean, this is something obviously from industry, and it will help you sort of track it. It's like the 80-20 rule, right? Like 80% of the
Hmm.
people paying, taxes pay 20% of the taxes, 20% pay 80%. At least
Hmm.
that was true 100 years ago when the dude who created this did the study. I don't think it's true anymore, but it's supposed to be that way, but it's a method of tracking. Like if you're going to track injuries in your manufacturing plant, right? You
Hmm.
want to focus your time and effort on the things that will make the biggest effect. So if
Hmm.
you've got 100 injuries and 70 of them are because people are untrained, that's where you're going to
Hmm.
put your time and energy. So what kind, like when you're tracking, like what should I be focused on in tracking and how do I get that information to make sure that I'm focused on the things that are going to work for me?
Hmm. So you mean as far as building your community or
Yeah, yeah.
as far as
Like who's joining and who's not and why. And I
hmm
guess it can be really hard to tell because if they don't join,
yeah,
you don't know them. But
right.
Mhm.
you can certainly, like, there's an example of, like, back in World War II, they were studying the planes that had been like shot at and made it back, and they were studying where it was to decide where to like beef up the protection, right?
hmm
But they weren't studying the planes that got shot down because they got shot down and they weren't there. And
hmm
so every piece of damage they found wasn't the one that shot the plane down.
hmm
So like I want to be able to help the people in my community, but understand what's working for them as
Mhm.
opposed to the people that it didn't work for them. And so I can lean more into that. And do you know if there's any way to pay attention to that? Jill's
Go in
nodding.
the
Uh,
settings section
Okay.
what do you
between
mean?
between the settings and the members
Hmm.
specifically, and one of those CRMs will help you, like Schoolie or
Okay.
Panda,
I
because you can see at a glance what classes people are going through.
oh, is that
So if
what
you
you
go,
mean?
yeah, if you're just on, yeah, this is the over here, you can look, see where it says visitors. If you click on the growth, yeah, go back to
Oh,
settings.
I'm sorry. I didn't even know I was still sharing my stuff. Visitors.
Sorry, that
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you want to
question
share your
was
screen?
that question was kind of out of left field, so I'm sorry about
Yeah.
that. It
I
came up
just,
for me.
oops, did I stop sharing my screen?
You
I
did.
did. I didn't even realize it. Okay. First, I need to back up because is that what you mean? Do you mean settings? Do you mean data like that? Or do you mean
So you can see
ta
the conversion rate up there at the
yeah,
top, and
yeah,
you
I was
can see
talking
the,
to, I'm sorry. I was asking Tracy that question. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, I guess I don't know if I mean settings because I want to
Uh-huh.
know where to look for the right information. Because everyone, like you were talking earlier about like vanity statistics,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to be able to go deeper than that and say, like, can I look at my community and what's working and what's not working? So
Right.
I hear you, Jill, on the fact that looking at who's taking what classes is important information that most people aren't talking about
Mm-hmm.
because it's the thing that is drawing them in. If everybody's doing like one class, that's the hook that I want to lean into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's hard to know why people don't keep going. It could be distracted by something else. So I don't feel like that's a very good metric to follow because you don't know why they're stopping. It could be that they came in and they thought it was something and it turned out it wasn't. They just stopped. Or it could be that it's confusing and they don't know, like the way you have it set it up. So it's not to follow that will only ask more, you'll only have more questions. Like, why didn't they
right.
finish it? Um, my best, like, back to the conversations thing, that's the way you find out. You
Hmm.
ask people.
Yep, yep.
And
Thank
because your community is smaller, it's easier to do. You can connect with every single one of the people in there, and you just have a conversation.
Yeah, and I honestly I think that subjective like answers are just as important as
Hmm
objective. You know,
hmm
like the one that I gave you, the example I gave you is an objective kind of thing to track. But
hmm
like it's like people companies that track customer satisfaction, right? That's
hmm
subjective. And you can
hmm
say, what do you like about this? And they'll tell you, and then you start doing more of the things they like. So
Yeah.
and that does happen in school through conversation, and it can happen through a poll,
Yeah. That's
but
it. Yeah.
that's only if people participate.
Right. That's a good way to get people. participating, because it's an easy way to get, they don't have to, what do they call it? What do I call it? They don't have to, it's a low effort.
Yeah.
So I always think it's a good idea to have some low effort stuff in there because for some reason, if I put let's respond in gifts only today, everybody wants to respond in gifts only, but it's fun, so I like to do it. But it's not it's always good to have those low effort things. But but as far as like, yeah, the fastest way to find out what you're asking is to talk to people and maybe have it in a structured way to where you're sure that the answer will be the answer that you're looking for. So it's not just like, well, how are you doing today? You
Yeah.
ask a specific question that answer like, where are you stuck? Where are you stuck right now? Or something
I
like
see
that.
you've gone through like so much of this class. Did you actually make it
Yeah.
through and just forget to tick it off? Or
Yeah.
is there something I can answer specifically about where you are in this
Yeah,
course
that's a
that
great
I can
question.
see
Yeah.
you're in?
And it would
Hmm.
be
And
great if school, like if somebody actually makes it to the end of the video, that they just check it off for you. Like that would be a nice update to
I
school.
think they do. I think it does do that.
I
No? Because
I don't think so.
I know I've been in a classroom and I did not check that button. And I get to the bottom.
maybe when I'm like starting to hear the like last like 30-second wrap up, I'm like, okay, done. So maybe that's
Yeah.
just a user
Yeah,
error on my
maybe.
part.
Because I think when you go from one lesson to the next is where maybe it's happening. I don't know if you're
Okay.
following it all. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty certain I've gone into classrooms and it's checked it off for me.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know where that point is where it checks it off for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Okay.
um, did that answer your question?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
definitely gave
okay.
me some great ideas and places to look. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, that honestly, I've, and Schoolie and Panda allow for auto DMs or level DMs or whether they completed something or if somebody's leaving. So if you have like everyone's on level one or level two, or they actually, I think if they transition from level one to level two, you can send them an auto DM. In the auto DM, you can start a conversation or, like, hey, congratulations. What have you found useful? Or, I don't know. I don't have a question to give you, but you know what I mean? Like, you can
Right.
have these conversations be automated. And I don't think, I know some people are hesitant with the automated DMs, and I honestly was too. But what I real in the beginning, in the very beginning, when I realized that Skool offered auto DMs, I was like, wait a minute, did they just message me? Like I thought they just messaged me, and then I finally realized it was auto DMs. What matters to me, and and I found because I've sent out almost to my entire community a DM virtually at the same time, is the answer. Is if I answer them back. They
Right.
didn't see, and I accidentally sent my last one with Schoolie. I accidentally sent a very auto DM looking one. I meant to update it and I didn't, and it sent out anyway. So it looked like, it had the AI looking dashes and everything. I meant to fix it. I still got, I think at least 50% people answered me on that one. It's like people know, and if they really want help, they'll ask you or they'll respond to your DM. And some of them were like, "I'm so appreciative that contacted me." Some people were still thinking I was teaching YouTube growth strategy. So it was good that I actually got them up to date. Like, no, I don't teach that anymore. So,
I really like the auto DMs. I like getting them
mhm.
from other
Yeah.
people because it's like, you thought enough to
Hmm.
get me the information in a space where I'm going to pay attention to it.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, it's super easy with Schoolie to
Yeah.
send everybody out a message.
Yeah. And the thing I don't like are the really super long ones that seem like they're just a promotion.
Yeah, don't do that.
If they, yeah, if they're a question, they're trying to get me to answer a question that's not a promotion, like, will you buy my thing? Also, that's another thing I never do. I never sell in the DMs. I never,
Mhm.
unless somebody approaches me about it, I never approach people about my offers inside the DMs. I like that's sacred space to me. That's the trust building space. And I don't ever want to, ruin the trust by trying to sell to people when they didn't ask for it.
Yep.
So,
But that's not to say if somebody has a problem and they're asking you about the
mhm,
problem, you don't have to
right.
give it away, but you do need to let them know that it is available at whatever
Yeah.
level it's available at, or
Yeah.
how to reach you in a way to have a conversation, a longer conversation if it's a
Yeah.
higher ticket thing, to be able to make a decision if that's what they want to use
Yeah.
for the solution to their problem.
Yeah, it totally makes sense when it makes sense,
Yeah,
like it
but
doesn't,
just
yeah, but that's that Facebook style, send it to
blast
everyone, you
people.
blast people, and not even like it's not meant to help them really. It's just meant to make you better, or like improve your situation. I don't know. It has to be kind of like you'll know because you care about people when it's the right time to tell them, okay, I have this available. This would be really good for you. You know, I mean, that's the way I think. Yeah.
School does
Yeah.
have some rules around DMing people. There's like a 10 DMs a week limit on new people. It's been around since the very beginning, just for that specific reason. It's
That's
different when you're doing auto DMs to your own community because they ask
right.
to be part of that space. But
Yeah. I don't usually DM people outside of my community, so I don't really even
mhm.
ever have had an issue with that because I'm only DMing people inside of my community, unless we just have a conversation and we're in the same community and then I DM them, but that rarely happens for me.
Mhm.
Yeah, if I'm in somebody else's community, I might DM them, but it would
Mhm.
be very specifically focused on the subject of their community, not on the subject
Yeah,
of mine.
right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Hmm.
Mona, thank you so much for sharing today.
You're
This has
welcome.
been very helpful.
Yeah,
You're
this is
very
great.
welcome.
I appreciate it. I learned a ton, so thank you.
Good. I'm glad and I was happy to share.
So you can join us next week on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Mountain here on Zoom. And you can find that link in our community at school.com/, the word YOU dash order dash U dash world dash order. Shouldn't have put the dashes in there, I think, when I made the thing. But we'll put it in the show notes below so you can join us there.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
again for joining us.